I'm John, and this is Prepper Nation. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about 35 survival foods you forgot to buy. You forgot to buy them, son. 35 of them. We're going to go down the list. This list actually comes from Alan Urban of Urban Survival Site. If you are familiar, it's a list of 35 foods that maybe you forgot to prep. I went down through the list and I wrote them all down, and some of them are pretty obvious things for preppers. Guarantee you've got some of the stuff on this list. So I don't think all 35 of them have been forgotten, but there's some, there's some good ones on here as well that maybe you did forget. So let's get right into it. Number one, almond butter. Uh, I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. It's forgotten on purpose. I just don't care for it. That's me. I get it. It's healthy. It's got the protein and stuff in it, but it's just not for me. Number two, apple cider vinegar. This is one of the head scratchers to me, to be honest with you, because almost every prepper out there knows about that prep. And I guarantee you, a lot of people watching this right now have apple cider vinegar for days, literally. I know that we do. It has so many uses. Um, Cleaning uses, what's an underrated use for it? I tell you what, drop that in the comments. For me, getting rid of heartburn, indigestion, stuff like that, acid reflux, even as long as you're buying the good stuff, it's got the mother in it, it's like really cloudy. Okay. Number three, baking soda. Again, there may be some people out there that aren't stacking baking soda, but a lot of preppers are already on top of that one. Baking soda, it's just like the apple cider vinegar. So many different uses, from toothpaste, again, back to the indigestion and the acid reflux and stuff. You can just mix it with some water. Number four, bouillon cubes. All of you here at Prepper Nation should have bouillon cubes. We talk about these from time to time. They are one of the cheapest things that you can afford to prep. They last virtually forever. I don't know, they may last forever. I mean, they're basically just salt. You can add them into a lot of things as well. It's something you should already have. So I don't know that this is a prep that people forgot to buy, but who knows? Maybe there are a lot of people out there that have forgotten about bouillon cubes somehow. Number five, canned tuna. Now, I'll eat this stuff from time to time anyway, just because I like it. Depends on the brand and the flavor and such. But I'll get the pouches for that. Or, camping and stuff like that. It's easy just to throw a couple, or even the chicken pouches down in there. But canned tuna specifically is a great prep. You really are going to get into that debate of oil versus water. That's the main thing. Um, what the urban survival site is saying, get it in oil because it's got a lot more calories. That seems to make sense to me, but I know a lot of people that they like the water as opposed to the oil because it is actually healthier. Also, I think about pets on this. We're always talking about don't forget your pets, right? So this is one of the foods that you can stack, that should the pet food run out, you can use it as pet food, right? But should the human food run out, hey, you can eat this stuff. So I actually like canned tuna, as a prep. And again, I don't know that a lot of people have forgotten it. A lot of your, what I would consider your middle of the pack mainstream preppers, if you will, they know about this stuff. They're already stacking it. Canning and pickling salt is number six, and that may be a very under the radar prep. That may be a forgotten prep to a lot of people. Number seven, also maybe a forgotten prep to a lot of people, cocoa powder. Cocoa powder lasts, I think, up to 30 years on its own as long as you're storing it properly. It's not around a lot of moisture. It's not getting hit by constant sunlight, freezing temperatures and stuff like this. So it's not a forever prep, but it's a very, very, very long-term prep on its own, and it's fairly cheap. Coconut oil is number eight. We like it. It's one of those things where it's going to vary. Some people will like it, some won't. The thing with the oils, though, is a lot of them break down fairly quickly when you can find them. Right now in Joe's America, they're hard to find, but with coconut oil, that's not the case. Number 9, dried herbs and spices. Good one. Excellent prep. Oh man, almost knocked her down, son. Not a forgotten prep. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. That's not something that people forgot to buy. Pretty much every prepper that I know, they are stacking spices and stuff like this when they can find it on sale. So it's not a forgotten prep. It is, however, an excellent prep. Number 10, dried lentils. Very good. Um, I don't know about the forgotten part. Number 11, dried seaweed. So this is gonna go up there for me, for y'all that know me here on the channel. That is right up there with squirrel. That is not something that I'm just interested in, to be honest with you. I've not tried it. I'm probably never gonna try it. I ain't into sushi and all that stuff. I'll stack extra herbs and spices. It ain't that expensive. But hey, if you like seaweed, apparently number 11 is for you. Number 12, chickpeas, makes total sense. Number 13 is one that some preppers may forget to stack up, or maybe they're just stacking light on hard cheese in wax. I've That's a really good prep for me. Number 14, honey, not a forgotten prep. I don't know what they're talking about on this website. No prepper worth their weight in salt is forgetting honey. Pure honey, not honey flavored syrup. Uh, the Typically with honey, the more expensive, the better it is, organic and stuff like that, but not always. It's great cough medicine. Again, it's one of those things where it has so many other uses. Let me know down below in the comments what's a use for you. But I will say, when I get a sore throat and stuff, tablespoon of honey. I don't do the teaspoon crap. Tablespoon of honey usually fixes me right up. And then there's also something called a hot toddy. I don't even know what goes in it. I think there's a little alcohol involved. It's hot, obviously, and I think it's got honey in it, and it knocks the cold right out. Number 15, not a forgotten prep. Instant coffee. What are you talking about with this list, son? Instant coffee. I mean, this is just like, it's a good list. This is a solid list for preppers. There are a few forgotten things on here, but again, I mean, look, honey, instant coffee now, herbs and spices. People are not forgetting this stuff. Apple cider vinegar, people are not forgetting it. Instant coffee you want to have on hand, even if you don't drink coffee. It's a great barter item. Uh, Number 16, powdered Jello. Okay, this one deserves to be on the list. Not overly healthy, so it's probably forgotten by a lot of people. There's not a ton of calories involved. The only thing I can think of is maybe is like the hard candies and stuff with the Jello, just a treat every so often, something sweet maybe. Who knows? Maybe there are other uses for it. Kamut, which is a super wheat, that is number 17. Number 18, Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is plentiful right now. All you have to do is find you a Nikki Haley voting building, where they hand out the signs and stuff. Go in, they'll give you the free Kool-Aid with that. I'm just joking, but look, Kool-Aid is a good prep as long as you've got sugar to go with it. Uh, you're good to go. 19, maple syrup. Nobody's forgetting this one. Excellent prep. I'm not arguing that it's not an excellent prep, but nobody's forgetting it. This is not a forgotten prep. This is not something people have forgotten to prep. Number 20, millet. Millet is interesting because there's no gluten. I think there's either no gluten or trace amounts. So if you're dealing with gluten issues, that is something you want to look into. Number 21, one of my favorites, pancake mix. It is just a shade below peanut butter for my favorite of all time. Peanut butter lasts longer. Peanut butter, you can eat straight out of the jar. Some people over here have said, "John, don't do it. You get choked, son." Maybe. But I mean, you just put it straight out, put it on bread or something. But pancake mix, excellent prep, maybe a forgotten prep to some. I like it because it yields so much. Now you're gonna have to replace it, depending on how you store it. If you're just the store-bought packaging, every year to 2 years. But you can get a huge bag for under $10 normally, feeds a lot of people, makes like 160 regular sized pancakes, not them big Jethro ones, but regular sized pancakes, a lot of food for the money. Number 22, popcorn. Popcorn is number 22. It is what it is. I guess that's a forgotten prep, maybe. I'm not really thinking about popcorn as a prep. I'm not forgetting it on purpose. I'm just focused on stuff that has a little bit more substance to it. That's just me. 23 powdered eggs. Okay, maybe. Maybe that's a forgotten prep. It's definitely a good prep. Maybe some people have forgotten about that one. Number 24 is powdered milk. No prepper's forgotten that. I'm sorry, but again, powdered milk is one of the top 50 preps. So yeah, not a lot of preppers have forgotten that one. It deserves to be on everybody's prepping list, but not a forgotten preps list, in my opinion. 25 protein bars. Okay, so yeah, maybe they're forgotten. Um, I'll take it a step further and I'll say, protein mix, your mix in that you would mix in with milk or powdered milk to make a shake and also weight gainer, mass gainer. But protein bars are really good because they're open and eat. And I think that they are probably, underrated and slept on by a lot of preppers. Um, and they're good to keep in the car. If you should have a kit in your car, small bag, a get home bag, tote or something. Put some of those in there. They're really good to keep in your car. You're gonna have to replace them every couple of years, but they're not very expensive. Number 26, pudding mixes. Eh, um, yeah, I guess this is a forgotten prep. I don't know how many preppers out there are stacking pudding mix to the rafters. This individual apparently likes Jello and pudding. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, uh, yeah, okay. Number 27, quinoa. Good one. Number 28, raisins. Raisins is a good one because you can go to the Dollar Tree and get this stuff. Raisins are not very expensive. They are a good prep to have on hand. Number 29, and people will fight me over this one. They do in the comments, man. Ramen noodles. So every single time I mention ramen noodles, there's a small group of people. Y'all know who you are, son, that are out there, and you get on that keyboard and you're like, ramen noodles are terrible for you. Do not prep ramen noodles. Way too much sodium. There's wax in there, son. They always say son in capital letters like I'm offended, like I've been called son my entire life, right? Here's the thing though. Although you're not wrong, you are right. I mean, they're horrible for you, nutritionally speaking. Some people, another group of people out there, and I've been there several times myself, can only afford to stack ramen noodles because they're on such a budget. So, starvation, ramen noodles. Which one technically is worse for you? Now, long term, I'm not trying to eat ramen noodles for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? But they're cheap to stack. They're cheap to stack. They're better than nothing. And to me, they're a good prep. I don't think they're a forgotten prep though. I don't know what they're talking about this list at this point. I mean, this list is just like 80% stuff that preppers should already be stacking. Number 30, soy sauce. Who ain't stacking soy sauce in the prepping community? Are you kidding me? Honey and soy sauce, these two are givens. Um, 31 is interesting. I'm going to give them credit on 31 because I think this one is an under the radar prep, a forgotten prep, if you will. And it makes a lot of sense because we're always stacking, meat. We're always stacking beef. We're stacking pork, maybe. We're stacking chicken. But also, you could, if you got desperate, you could use it in beans or something. Taco seasoning. Just the single-use packs of taco seasoning. Those seem like a really good prep, and I don't know if we have any stacked. So I'm glad this list is out there. Number 32, Tang. So what are you talking about? Every prepper I know has Tang. We've got now ours is called Orange Delight. I think it's called Orange Delight. It's from Augustin Farms. Bro, we got enough of that stuff to make it look like a life-size Cylon or something. The number 10 cans. It's cheap. Again, Oxen Farms, you can get on Amazon all day long. Who don't like Tang? Come on now. Tang is like Tang and Spam are like your apocalyptic foods. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tang may be forgotten by some, ain't forgotten by me. Number 33 just sounds nasty. Textured vegetable protein. I don't even know what that means. I know what textured means. I know what vegetables are. I know what protein is. Those are just three words that should not go together. Kind of like Joe Biden president or President Joe Biden. They don't go together. This sounds nasty. I'm just stacking jerky instead. I'm going to be honest with you. Number 34. This isn't under the radar prep unless you're big into cooking and stuff like this. Then I guarantee you have some vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is a really, really good one. I know we have some. I don't know that we've stacked it to the rafters, to be honest with you, and we may have to pick up some more. Number 35, finishing out the list, yeast. Okay, makes sense. What are you adding to this list? And which ones on the list are kind of ridiculous? As a forgotten prep. Again, I'm looking at apple cider vinegar. I'm looking at honey. I'm looking at soy sauce. I'm looking at Tang. These are not forgotten preps. Ramen noodles, to me, this is not a forgotten prep. Uh, what would I add to the list? That gets very interesting. What would you folks add to the list? Let me know in the comments.